accepted.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Very nice of you, Dr. Dinkar Patil. Dr. Subhash
Thank you,
ji,
sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Subhash ji, Dev, once
Namaskar.
again we are meeting.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you,
Uh,
sir. Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
Dr. Subhash, we always regarded him as our senior colleague in administration.
Thank you, sir. Bhusle, sir.
Yeah,
You can you can proceed
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and you have assured us that you will be mentoring in our
Yeah.
upcoming third cycle of NAC.
100% sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, I have just generated the YouTube link and now this webinar is live on YouTube.
Okay. And now you can begin. I think all the resource persons have been joined.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
So
almost 10. So shall we
yeah,
begin?
yeah, of course. We should not lose a minute.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And good morning and welcome all on the occasion of this national level webinar on the new education policy 2020. I'm Dr. Manoj Gujar, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of English, and the Coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Professor Sambhaji College, Deor. And I would love to take this opportunity to welcome you all for this national webinar. Dear participants and friends, the new national education policy has been a much debated issue since the publication of its first draft in the year 2018. And both the print and the electronic media and various social networking sites are debating on the positive and the negative aspects of this issue of national importance. Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan, the well-known scientist and educationist, the former chairman of ISRO, and the ex-member of parliament was the chairman to draft this policy along with his team of experts. And this policy has been designed with a set vision. The vision reads as an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transform our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. Dear participants, the education and the educating system in India is continuously undergoing a change, and the new educational policy is no exception. Keeping this view in mind, my college, Professor Sambhaji Rao Kadam College, Deor, has organized to have an open-ended discussion on this issue of national importance. And we all are here for that. Respected attendees and the guests of honor today, especially the keynote speaker, Principal Dr. Subhash Dev sir, the ex-principal of esteemed Gokte Zogdekar College, Ratnagiri, the distinguished resource person, Professor Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir, the former Director of Higher Education, Government of Maharashtra, and the resource person, Dr. Dinkar Patil sir, the Director of School Education and the Director of SCERT, Government of Maharashtra. And the special guest of honor, the panelist for today's webinar, Major Praveen Sawan sir, the Director, HR Cognizant. We all have with us the President of my College Development Committee and an innovative entrepreneur, Sri Arvind Sahib Rao Kadam sir. And you can see my principal, Dr. Bharat Bhosle, virtually present from the institutional headquarters. I sincerely welcome you all for accepting this invitation and sparing your valuable time getting connected for this webinar. And I also take this opportunity to welcome all you, the invitees, the students, the attendees, and of course, the members of my IQAC, my colleagues and faculty members on YouTube and Zoom and YouTube channel. Welcome you all and thank you for your interest in the national education policy. Dear participants, this national education policy envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly transforming India sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all and thereby making India a global knowledgeable superpower. The policy envisages that the curriculum and pedagogy of our institutions must develop among the students a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and a conscious awareness of one's rights and responsibilities in a changing world. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit and being a truly global citizen. The highlighting factor is being sustainable, equitable, vibrant, and of high quality. And last few months, under the lockdown situation, there were many webinars conducted on the different aspects of national education policy. But however, I think ours is different one, discussing the education policy from a different angle, that is the paradigm shift boosting self-reliant India mission. I hope and I am sure that today's discussions will certainly prove helpful to all those who wish to update themselves with the scope and limitations and the challenges of the national education policy. Thank you all. Thank you for connecting with us.
With this welcome and brief introduction of the webinar, now let me invite the principal of this institution, Honorable Dr. B.N. Bhosle sir, for his address. Principal Dr. Bhosle is our continuous source of inspiration, a man of varied experience in the academia, an ideal teacher for last 36 years, a research guide, dynamic principal for last 27 years, and a research scholar engaged in artificial neutral network and artificial intelligence. He has produced quality book of mathematics, research paper published in international quality journals. Moreover, having an extensive administrative experience on various universities, authorities such as Academic Council and Senate member of Mumbai University. He chaired many international seminars and conferences, visited almost every continent of this world, and is the proud recipient of Bharat Gaurav Award, Bharat Excellent Award, the Best Teacher Award, and Paryavaran Mitra Award. Moreover, Principal Dr. Bhosle is a gentleman administrator with a human touch. Sir, this may not be an exaggeration if I say that this institution has excelled new heights under your leadership for last couple of years. Thank you, sir. And I request you to deliver your address, please. Honorable Dr. B.N. Bhosle, sir.
सर चालत नाही घेतो तुमचं माहीत नाही त्या सरळ डायरेक्ट सरांकडे जा परत परत जाऊन देऊन टाका त्यांचं माहीत चालत नाही डॉक्टर भोसले सर It appears that there is a sound issue with Dr. Bhosle sir's system. Let us give a minute so that I can check the issue. In the meantime, our panelist, Major Praveen Sawan sir, has joined the assembly. I welcome Major Praveen Sawan sir.
My pleasure, sir. Thanks. It's pleasure to see all of you, especially Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir. Long time.
Yes, sir.
It's always a pleasure to hear from him. Whatever he has a great experience in the education field, and he has always guided us for long years to be a Samstha at this stage, what we are today. So thank you so much for all your support, Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir.
Thank you, sir. It's really a pleasure to be with us, associated to be for the webinar.
Okay, I think the issue has been resolved. Yes. Dr. Bhosle sir, can I start? Yes, sir, of
Yes,
course.
yes.
I was waiting for you. Dr.
Okay.
I think Dr. Prasanna has assisted you well.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
in between, Major Praveen Sawan sir has joined the assembly. I have just
Okay, okay,
welcomed him. So, sir, I
okay,
request you to go with your principal's address, sir.
okay.
Please.
दार दार बंद करो. Yes. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, okay. Thank you for providing technical assistance. Greetings to you all, educationists, academicians, my fellow teachers, and some students might be. For this NEP 2020, a paradigm shift in higher education to boost self-reliant India mission.
Excuse me, sir. I'm very sorry to disturb you, but your video is not visible, sir. Please start your video. Yes, sir. Now it's
Yes,
visible.
okay,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
okay. We have to accept these technical snags. Sorry for that. I will open my address with one tagline, that is, education is a serious engagement, and it applies to all, the institution, faculty, and the students. Our higher education system stands second largest system in the world, comprising of 900 plus universities, catering to nearly 37 million students. But the glaring fact is that 47% graduates we produce are unemployable, where we claim that India is producing one of the best talents in the world, but this is a big failure. Industry alone is a major employer. 80% employment comes from industry. Apparently, there is a mismatch between graduated stuff, graduating stuff, and the industrial requirements. To be precise, what is demanded is not taught, and what is taught is not demanded. There is a causal relationship between education and national development. Given this, system of higher education essentially needs to be overhauled to make it deliverable. I'm hopeful that deliberations today may spell out on the salient features embedded in the proposed NEP 2020. Will it address these issues? The question is, what changes are emanating from this revamping exercise, which was rather overdue since 1986? Be it whatever, whichever, we as the academic community shall have to change, become more responsive and adaptive to these changes. I feel, friends, we have to come out of the dilemma. I frequently cite this dilemma. We have to come out of this dilemma, with which we tend to live. We all, I mean everyone, that we want things to remain the same, but get better. This is just hoping against the hope. Let us all change to adopt the NEP 2020. Make it work, to make it work, to make it deliver. With this, I conclude. Greetings once again. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yes.
Now for the next plenary session, let me invite is Dr. Dinkar Patil sir, the Director of School Education.
Just excuse, but before that, we need to move with the president's speech. the President of my College Development Committee. I would like to invite the President of my College Development Committee and the Honorable Trustee of
गुजर सांगा.
Sir, looks like you are on mute. Just check once again your mic setting. You were introducing Mr. Arvind, but looks like you are on mute, please.
Okay, एक minute.
It's better now.
Okay.
I think you said, yeah.
Oh.
Thanks.
Okay, now dear friends, I would like to invite the President of my College Development Committee and the Honorable Trustee of Sri Mudai Devi Shikshan Sanstha, Shri Arvind Kadam sir, for his formal inaugural speech. This young and dynamic President of my College Development Committee is a scholar and meritorious engineer entrepreneur and the founder of Innovative Engineering, an exclusive manufacturing firm and the export venture of fish net machinery across the globe. He is a man with vision and well aware of his social responsibilities, which made him active in various national and international professional bodies and social organizations. He is an active member of Engineering Export Promotion Council of India, Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, and the director of Rotary Club of Satara. Along with my principal, he is the one who has been a key source of inspiration for all of us, a guide, a motivator, and a thorough troubleshooter whose vision is to lead this institution to the A-grade college, one of the best college from the rural area. Yes, it is true that this institution is achieving different milestones since Sri Arvind Kadam sir took over charge as a president of the College Development Committee. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And I request you to give your inaugural address, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning, one and all. Dear resource persons, panelists, keynote addressee, Principal Dr. Bharat Bhosle, and the live audience. I am really feeling proud and privileged to be with you all on the occasion of this virtual assembly. Being the president of CDC and the trustee of Sri Mudai Devi Shikshan Sanstha, I took it as my pleasure to deliver this inaugural speech. And at the very outset, I declare this national webinar on National Education Policy 2020, a paradigm shift in higher education to boost self-reliant India mission, formally inaugurated and open for discussion. Dear friends, our institute is known for its quick response to national issues and policies, and this webinar is no exception. We have organized this webinar especially to explore the elements of NEP relevant to the self-reliant India mission and create awareness among students and teachers. Friends, due to COVID-19 pandemic followed by the prolonged lockdown, India's GDP is slumped by 23.9%, that is 12 lakh crore rupees in the first quarter of current year, which is the worst performance amongst all countries in the world. It indicates that our economy is not stronger enough to absorb geo-economic shock. So, our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi launched the Self-Reliant India mission to make our economy stronger and sustainable. Its main focus is on innovations and startup ecosystem of our country. So, friends, let's explore how is Self-Reliant India mission interwoven with NEP 2020. There are 5 pillars of Self-Reliant India mission: an economy that brings quantum jump, infrastructure that becomes the identity of modern India, a technology-driven system to fulfill the dreams of 21st century, our vibrant demography, which is a source of energy, strength and demand supply chain that is to be harnessed to its full potential. And these 5 pillars are supported by 4 E's. that is education, employability, employment, and entrepreneurship to build a self-reliant India mission. These four E's should be interwoven properly with the economy occupying the pivotal position to support the five pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Education is the starting point for growth and development of any society. It provides substratum of workforce to the economy. Hence, economy and education need to be juxtaposed. Education should lead to employability. Employability should make employment possible and should facilitate entrepreneurship. Friends, employability has remained a tough challenge for the job seekers and employers for many years now. The Indian education system was being questioned for its lack of effectiveness. Industry struggle to find job ready talent, and job seekers grapple to find a job. Industry academia gap is probably the most discussed thing by employers and job seekers. So, friends, can this National Education Policy 2020 bridge the much needed job readiness gap? In my opinion, yes, of course, because it is designed to deliver education as per industry trends and patterns. Future of our country looks promising as this NAP is focused on holistic development of emerging workforce, that is students. With the new policy coming in picture, the school and college education will not only be seen as a facilitator of degree, but it will be treated as medium to provide skilled human resource of high caliber. Friends, can NEP create a roadmap for entrepreneurship? Yes, of course, because NEP promotes integration of mainstream education with vocational education and industry. It is focused on research and innovation by setting up industry academia, academic linkages, startup incubation centers, and technology development centers. It also promotes business-focused approach, creating entrepreneurship-oriented programs, which will lead to entrepreneurial revolution. Dear friends, I believe that future belongs to those who innovate, be it an individual or the institute. I cherish and practice it. Innovative engineering, my own manufacturing and export venture, which has export network encompassing almost 23 leading countries across the globe, speaks for itself. So, being a successful entrepreneur, I would like to express my views on the proposed NEP 2020. In my opinion, NEP 2020 has laid down a foundation for six pillar of self-reliant India mission. And the sixth pillar is education in the form of insurance and assurance for self-reliant India mission. It's a giant leap forward to India's education system. It has laid down a clear roadmap to transform India into a knowledge superpower. If implemented effectively, it will make India a key research and development destination of the world. However, quality of teachers will be a tough challenge. This policy will succeed only if students are taught by passionate, motivated, professionally trained, and well-equipped teachers. Teachers shall be capable to instill curiosity into students and turn them into lifelong learners. Since education is a concurrent subject, a lot also a lot will also depend on how it is interpreted and implemented by state and central governments. Friends, on this special occasion of national webinar, I would like to share some distinctive features of our institute that are relevant to the proposed NEP. Though our institute is situated in drought-prone rural region of Maharashtra, it has created its own distinctiveness towards social responsibility. Through its unique ISR project, roof water harvesting and borewell recharge, which is the only project of its kind undertaken at social level in drought-prone area of Maharashtra and has set an example for educational community. This is the only institute in Maharashtra which has created its own ecosystem for construction of knowledge, entrepreneurship, and employment by offering enrichment courses relevant to the emerging professions such as international trade, GST law, intellectual property rights, and industrial mathematics. We have executed 25 MOUs with industries which are functional to provide learner-centric education through experimental learning, on-job training, and internship throughout school. We are instilling professional skills among students, faculties to develop skilled human resource of high caliber, which is a need of our economy, society, and the country as a whole. These distinctive features of our institute are the elements of proposed NEP, and our institute is implementing it since last 2 years. Thus, we are already one step ahead to make this national education policy and self-reliant India mission successful, which is a proud thing for us. Dear friend, explore, innovate, research, and excel is our motto. And I'm sure this national webinar will move ahead with a focus on exploring the elements of NEP linked to employability, entrepreneurship, and ultimately the self-reliant India mission. I wish you all a grand success and hope your sincere efforts would make this webinar a remarkable activity to be cherished for the years to come. Thank you again. Thank you, one and all.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inaugural address. Sir, you really placed the gist of national education policy and you highlighted both the things in your address, the paradigm shift and the boost element in the self-reliant India mission. Thank you very much for being with us and delivering this meaningful address and inaugurating this national webinar. Now I request my colleague friend, Dr. Prasanna Patil, to welcome and introduce Dr. Dinkal Patil, sir. Dr. Prasanna Patil, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, for the next plenary session, let me invite the Dr. Dinkar Patil, sir, the Director of Social Education and Director of Secretary, SECRT, for the address of primary, secondary, and higher secondary component of NEP. Dr. Dinkar Patil is a man of wide experience, born and brought up in a small village named Onavde in Kolhapur district, and he since 1987 he worked as a teacher. He successfully got selected as a class 1 officer through MPSC in 1995 and held different positions such as district education officer, secondary secretary of SSC, HSC board, chairman of board of examinations, and now he is enjoying two significant positions at the same time: the director of school education and the director of SCRT. Uh, Along with the administrative duties, he is also much interested in social activities, especially known for his efforts to curb the case studies, cases of student suicides in Maharashtra. Sir, we really feel proud and privileged to have you as a special guest of honor and a resource person for this webinar. I request you on the behalf of the organizer to begin your topic, primary, secondary, and higher secondary component of National Education Policy 2020. Sir.
Good morning, you all. I'm Dinka Patil, Director of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education, and also having the additional charge of SCRT, which is an academic authority as per the RT Act in Maharashtra, and which is very concerned with the all the syllabus and textbooks and other things. I have here a presentation, but it is a big presentation. But as a time concern, I will take some slides from all the presentations, and we'll try to explain the role of school education in new education policy, because from in the new education policy, from 3 years to 18 years, it is expanded, because earlier there was primary education to higher secondary education. Then I will say 10 plus 2 plus 3, there was a cycle for education, for school education. But now it is extended that from 3 years to 18 years, from early childhood education to 12th standard education. Therefore, a long cycle is there, and I will try to explain the what I got at time, because I have another meeting with the secretary. So I will try my best to explain the new education policy regarding to school education. Next slide. Yeah, school education. Next, the vision of this policy is already explained, so I will not go in details in that, because at the introductory part of the session it was explained. Second one is school education, which is included in chapter 8 of the new education policy, and which covers at 8 areas. That is one, early childhood care and education. We call it as foundational learning, foundational literacy and numeracy, and urgent and necessary prerequisite to the learning. I will say here early childhood care and education, which is from age of 3 to 6, and foundation learning is for first and second standard. Third one is curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education to all levels. That is the third area in the new education policy. Curriculum and pedagogy in schools. Learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. On that basis, curriculum and pedagogy will be developed as per the new education policy. Then fifth one is teacher. That is teacher and teacher education, duties of the teachers. And I saw that my presentation is lost here. Hello? Hello, PPT is not visible now.
Gujar sir, PPT is not visible. Can you just share your screen here?
Yes, sir. Let me check it. Just a minute. You can carry on, sir. Let me check it.
Yeah. So teacher and teacher education is another aspects of this. And sixth one, equitable and inclusive education, means learning for all as per the concept. Inclusive education is a main focus on the in the new education policy. Seventh one is efficient resourcing and effective governance through school complex and clusters. There is a concept of a school complex is introduced here. It is not new for the Maharashtra, because it is already implemented before a year in our Maharashtra. I will explain in this. It is the slides when on that point. And last one is standard setting and accreditation for school education. It is one of the important point here mentioned, because at the college level there is an accreditation system is there, but at the school level yet there is no accreditation system and a standard setting for the school education. So it is a important point in this policy is here. So in 8 areas there is a school education is described in 8 areas. First one is early childhood care and education, the foundation learning. As per the research, many research say that over 85% of the child's cumulative brain development is up to the age level of the age, and therefore it is a important some importance is given to early childhood care and education in this policy. Therefore, rightly I said that there was a in existing policy not so much importance to the early childhood yeah, pre-primary education. Now there is a Anganwadis are here in Maharashtra, and through that we are trying to give the pre-education. But in new policy, there is a first 3 years, 3 to 5, 3 to 6. There is the early childhood care and education, and the national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education for children up to the age 8 will be developed by the NCERT. Uh, uh, in this universal provisioning of quality early childhood development care and education, and the time limit is given here must be achieved by till 2030. The overall aim of ECC is physical and mental, cognitive, psychomotor, ethical, cultural development, and the development of communication and early language, literacy, and numeracy. So this one is early childhood education, where the more emphasis are given in the early childhood education, and there is a at the implementation level, some of the pre-primary education is attached with the private school also, and some other in other local authorities schools there is the Anganwadis are there. So we have to co-location of these Anganwadis with the primary schools. It is a task for our department also. And there should be convergence of women and child development department and the school education department. Next is foundation literacy and numeracy. There is a national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy will be set up, because many of the survey which has declared by the NCERT and also other NGOs also, our children are lying behind in literacy and numeracy. Therefore, main focus is given for first and second standard on the foundational learning, and a national mission on foundational learning and numeracy will be set up by the MHRD for attaining universal foundational learning and numeracy in all primary schools for all learners by grade 3, rightly as said, for standard first and standard second. Teachers will be trained to impart foundational literacy and numeracy, establishing innovative models to foster peer tutoring and voluntary activities for promoting foundational learning. Again, a national repository of high quality resources on foundational literacy and numeracy will be made available on the digital infrastructure for knowledge and sharing, Diksha platform. Now we are also using this Diksha platform in the COVID situation, and on this Diksha platform in Maharashtra, it is a usage of the Maharashtra at national level is at the top of the all states, and near about 3,000 contents. The contents are available in Marathi, Urdu, English, Gujarati, and all 6 languages are there. We have developed the e-content, and it is available on Diksha app now. And in COVID situation, all the students or teachers are using this Diksha app, and through Diksha app, our e-learning is now continue. Again, 3 months play-based school preparation module for all grade first students will be developed by NCERT and SCERT, so that once enters the students in first standard, there will be 3 months play-based preparation module will be developed. Again, public and school library will be significantly expanded, and digital libraries will be also be established. A national book promotion policy will be formulated. The nutrition and health, including mental health of children, will be addressed through the healthy meals and regular health, because there is a scheme, midday meal scheme is there. It is also at Anganwadi also, and up to the 8th standard students, there is a midday meal scheme. Midday meal scheme also is there, and it is in existence. It can be promoted also. Next. Dropout. The GER for grades 6 to 8 was 90.9%, while for grade 9 to 10 and 11 to 12, it was only 79.3% and 56.5% respectively. To initiative for above, children who are dropping out should we come back into mainstream education? First thing is that, and achieve universal participation in school by carefully tracking students as well as their learning levels. Means here we have to number of children yet there is out of school children are there, and many initiatives are also taken to bring the students in mainstreams. Just like I mentioned, midday meal scheme, then textbooks, and we free textbooks we provide to the students. But yet there are many students out of the school, and we are going to focus in new policy that all the children will be admitted in the school, and the learning outcomes or learning levels of these students should be increased. So NIOS and state open schools also will be provided. At national level there is a NIOS, but at state level, state open school will be also offered for A, B, C level that are equivalent to grade 3, 5, and 8 of the formal school system. Secondary education programs that are equivalent to grade 10 and 12, and vocational education courses program, and adult literacy and enrichment program also. So here we are in the new education policy with the way of various tracking system will brought all the students in the which are out of school children will be in the mainstream. We can admit in the schools, and also NIOS as well as SIOS will be encouraged to educate these out of school children. Next slide. There is a rightly as said, the education cycle is said that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, which is designed. That is foundation stage learning, 3 years of Anganwadis, preschools, plus 2 years in primary school with flexible multi-level play activity based learning, and the curriculum and pedagogy of ECCE. Actually, for pre-primary, there is a curriculum is already developed by the SCRT. But according to new education policy, some changes will be done in this, and it will be executed in the next time. At a secondary stage, grade 9 to 12, covering age 14 to 18, with greater depth, greater critical thinking, greater attention to life aspiration, and greater flexibility and students' choice of subject and option to exit at grade 10, re-enter at later stage in grade 11. Here at 9 to 12, we are saying as a secondary education. Earlier, we are saying 9th, 10th is the secondary education, and 11th and 12th is the higher secondary education. But in new education policy, there is a 9 to 12 that is a secondary education, and there is a, as per a interdisciplinary policy decision is taken, which is concept is introduced in the new education policy. There is a choice to the students to select a subject. I mean, in disciplinary subject at disciplinary policy, interdisciplinary policy, at the higher education level, once a students, if students is in BSc branch, and if he wants to take any art subject, they can have facilities to take a subject. On that ground, it will be started from the secondary level. Mean students can choose a subject which they have to take in a secondary or at a higher level also. This is the this one is 6 to 8, that is age 11 to 14 with a subject oriented pedagogical and curriculum style. Yani, first to 3 to 5 is early childhood education. Again, grade 3 to 5 covering 8 to 11 with the introduction, experimental learning across the science, mathematics, and social science and humanities, which that is these subjects will be taught. And at the middle stage, their grade 6 to 8 covering ages 11 to 14 with subjects oriented pedagogical and curriculum styles. So in new education policy, the educational cycle is set and it can be implemented. But in Maharashtra, as we think of Maharashtra, the educational cycles to implement in educational cycles, we have to take I mean, it is very difficult, practically difficult, because as there is a structures in a high school, there is a from 1 to 12 high schools are there. Again, 11th and 12th is at many senior colleges. There is attached to 11 and 12th attached to senior colleges. Many places there is attached to secondary schools. Therefore, for this secondary education, practically it is very difficult, but we are trying to execute this cycle also. Next one, holistic development of learner, that is curriculum and pedagogy reforms to move towards real understanding and learning how to learn and away from the culture of the rote learning. I mean, to overcome the rote learning, we are in the new education policy. The main theme is how to learn, and another is lifelong learner. Means we are overcoming rote learning and promoting the self-learning and learning how to learn the student. Again, aim of the education will not only be the cognitive development, but also building character and creating holistic and well-rounded individual equipped with the key 21st century skills, and specific sets of skills and values across domains will be identified for integration and incorporate at each stage of learning from the preschool to higher education. Next one. Again, reduction curriculum content. It's a core essential and makes space for critical thinking and more holistic, inquiry-based, discovery-based, discussion-based, and analysis-based learning. The mandate content will focus on key concepts, ideas, applications, and problem solving. Teaching and learning will be conducted in more interactive manner. Therefore, to overcome this rote learning, we should go for this what I explained now. Next one. National textbooks with the local content. In Maharashtra, there is a textbook bureau also there, and they produce textbooks which prepared a syllabus by the SCRT, and all textbooks shall aim to contain the essential core material on national level, but at the same time contain and desired nuance and supplementary materials as per local context at needs. Means which are national concerns, they will be considered, and also local concerns will be considered in textbook. State will prepare their own curricula, which may be based on NCFCE. There is a national curriculum framework will be there. It is not yet declared, but it is in the process. And on the basis of the national curriculum framework, state will be develop their state curriculum framework, and accordingly the textbooks will be prepared. Concentrate efforts through suitable changes in curriculum and pedagogy will be made to significantly reduce the weight of school bags and textbooks. In our national education policy, from 6th standard, there is a vocational education is a provision, and for 10 days there is without any bag there will be school, because all the activities will be given out of the school and near and premises of the schools in the neighboring area. Next one. Knowledge of India will include knowledge for ancient India to modern India, as well as future aspiration. Indian knowledge system, including tribal knowledge and indigenous and traditional always of learning will be covered. Means we have to prepare a multi-language textbook also in a local language and Marathi language, local language, or Marathi or Hindi, Marathi or English. That is multi-language can be used for the textbook. Specific courses in tribal, ethno-medical practices, forest management, traditional crop cultivation, natural farming will be also be made available. Video documentaries of inspirational luminaries of India, ancient and modern, that is will be also included. Again, students will be given a logical framework for making ethical decisions at young age. Cheating, violence, plagiarism, littering, tolerance, equality, empathy, with a view to enable children to embrace moral, ethical values in concluding one's life. So this is regarding to traditional and modern India, and culture will be developed through this education policy. Next one. Next. Transforming assessment for students' development. So here assessment policy is revised because rightly earlier in existence there is a at first to eighth level there is a CC, continuous comprehension evaluation, and no detention policy as per the RT Act is there. Therefore, all the students from once they entered in the first standard, it is evaluated on CC basis, and they are completing the 8 years education. And what is the responsibility of the our government or that is the up to the 14 years, the primary education should be completed. So there is a CC is available for evaluation system, but in new education policy, examination in grades 3, 5, and 8 also, which will be test achievement of basis learning outcomes and application of knowledge in real life situation. So at the level of 3, 5, and 8, there will be examination for the students. The board exam for grade 10 and 12 will be continued. Board exam will be made easier as they will test preliminary core capacities, competencies rather than the memorization. So in our state, there is a 10th and 12th state examinations boards are there. And but there should be not on memory-based questions in the evaluation system. So competency-based and competency-based evaluation should be there. Board exams such as the annual, semester, modular board exams at two levels, objective type and descriptive type. You can because now in existence also there is objective type questions are also there, descriptive questions are there also. But one another suggestion is another provision in NEP is there should be 2 times of board exam should be conducted in the conducted should conduct by the board. But presently we are conducting 2 times examination. One is the regular examination, and second one is for the repeater students examination. Therefore, I feel that there should not be. It is not need to be the change of the structural structure of the examination in state in Maharashtra. Then guidelines will be prepared by NCERT in consultation with SCERT boards, assessment, and PARAK, the proposed new national assessment. There is a PARAK. It is a newly introduced in this new education policy for the evaluation. That is, PARAK means performance assessment, review, and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. So, for the evaluation, there are 3 types of institutions will be there. That is, one is PARAK. Another is a standard setting and accreditation for school education. That is SSSA. It will be there. And third one is school quality assessment, SQAAF. School quality assessment and accreditation framework. It will be prepared by the SCERT. So there is a 3 types of new evaluation institutions will be there, where the students assessment will be there, school assessment will be there, and school quality assessments also will be there. So all these 3 institutions systems are introduced in this new education policy. Next. Next. Supported for gifted students. The NCERT and NCTE will develop guidelines for the education of gifted children. The B.Ed program may also allow a specialization in the education of gifted children. Teachers will encourage students with the singular interest and or talent in the classroom by giving them supplementary enrichment material and guidance. Olympiads and competitions in various subjects will be conducted across the country. Online apps with quiz, competitions, assessment, enrichment materials, and online uh, communities for share interest will be developed. Uh, uh, Group activities. School will develop smart classrooms in a phased manner. Next, in teachers area, the recruitment of teachers and development transfer will be conducted through an online system that ensures transparency. Uh, Now in Maharashtra state, there is the system is already available. All the primary school teachers transfers are done on through the online portal, and therefore it is already present in our state. Teachers eligibility test will be strengthened and extended to cover pre-primary to grade 12 teachers. Now, as per the RT Act, there is a teacher eligibility test only for the first to eight standard teachers. There is no provision for 10th and 10th, 11th, 11th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So TET will be conducted also for the 9 to 12 standard and also for the 3 to 3 to first standard, and for pre-primary education also. For subject teachers suitable TET or NTA test scores will be defined. A technological based comprehensively teacher equipment planning forecasting exercise. In this regards, in Maharashtra also there is a Pavitra portal is there, and we are recruiting the teachers through the Pavitra portal, and there is a TET examination for the these teachers selection, and now this year near about 6,000 and above teachers are recruited through these portals. So the total system is a transparent systems, and those who are actually meritorious students, they can select for this teacher's job. Again, the continuous professional development. I will not talk on this. Next one. Again, professional standards for the teachers. A common guiding set of national professional standards for teacher will be developed by 2020 by the NCT, because all the standards of teachers will as a qualification, professional qualification will be decided by the NCT. The standards would cover expectation of the role of the teachers at different levels of expertise and stages, and the competencies required for the stages according to, as rightly said, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. NCT to be restructured as a professional standards getting body under the General Education Council, that is GES, and its special educators. Next one.
Okay, sir.
For the special children's, for subject teaching the children with disabilities, Divyang children at the middle and secondary school level, specialization will be offered during or after pre-service teacher preparation with the greater synergy between the course curriculum, NCT and RCI. Because for these Divyang students, there is a separate course or a B.Ed specialization course also there. But in a general education also, there is inclusive education. So these types of training will be given to the teachers also. Next, National Curriculum Framework for Standard School Education. I have already talked on the NCF and SCF also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah. I will conclude now because I have also another meeting.
sir.
So as we consider the national school education, there is a many provisions in this national education policy which cannot be explained in a 30 minutes. It will take a day or 2 days, 3 days to explain
Yes.
in details.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
I have gone through the basic and main points on the NEP for the school education, and it is very uh, in new education policy, more and more thrust is given on the primary and secondary education, so that the base of the students will be ready for the higher education and onwards. Uh, so it is a new education policy, which is a very important policy. But at the implementation level, every education policy is it's a is in every education policy there is a specific emphasis are given in specific points. Accordingly, this education policy also speaks. So I will try. I tried my best to explain within the 30 minutes all the policy of school education
Yes, sir.
level. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Dinkar Patil, sir. It was really a wonderful experience to listen you. Sir, your previous speech provide much expected details on primary, secondary, and higher secondary components of NEP 2020 to this live virtual audience. You introduced the primary, secondary, and higher secondary component in a nutshell and touched every possible aspect as discussed in the national education policy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dinkar Patil, sir. And thank you, my friend Prasanna Patil, sir. Now I request the keynote speaker of this webinar, Dr. Subhash Dev, sir, the ex-principal of the famous Gokte Jogrekar College, which is R.P. Gokte Jogrekar of Arts and Science and R.V. Jogrekar College of Commerce, Ratnagiri. He was the professor in the Department of Commerce of Gokte Jogrekar College, served the institution for many years, and under his capacity as the principal only, the Gokte Jogrekar College achieved a considerable position in the jurisdiction of Mumbai University. As a meritorious and A-grade college for the 4 subsequent cycles of NAC. He is a good teacher, good administrator, learned educationist, and a learned NAC assessor. His college secured the first 4-star college status in 2002 in its first accreditation cycle of NAC. A grade with a CGP of 3.23 in the second accreditation cycle in 2008. And again, A grade with a CGP of 3.31 in its third cycle of NAC in 2014. And it all happened under his learned leadership only. Sir, I welcome you as a keynote speaker of this webinar and request you to deliver your keynote address. Dev, sir, please.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. So, first of all, I congratulate the organizers for organizing this webinar on a very important and interesting topic. Organizers has allotted me 30 minutes. So in the 30 minutes, I will have the very highlights of this new education policy. Before starting my presentations, I want to make clear one thing. As per the Constitution, our education is in a concurrent list. So the policy will be decided by the central government as well as it will be modified in the given framework by the concerned state also. So though it was decided and though it was public that this policy will be implemented by year 2022, the Maharashtra state government have appointed one committee to work and to decide the working modalities, how to implement this policy in the state of Maharashtra. So whatever is there in the present education policy, which is available on the social media, nets, and the websites of the Education Ministry of the central government as well as of the state government, when it will come to the implementation stage, there will be certain changes, certain modifications are also expected while implementing at the implementing level. So this fact we have to remember when we will have the discussion on this education policy and so on. First of all, I want to bring your attention that after independence, we have not modified or changed or altered the education policy first time. There are number of modifications, number of alterations, number of additions up to year 1986. Very recent amendment in the 1986 and so on. But I personally think this education policy is not alteration or it is not the additions in the existing one, but it is a total restructuring of the education system in this country and so on. So this is another important point which we have to remember while discussing the education policy and so on. What is the main changes? I will put one by one like this. First time I find our education policy have real structural changes, because when we introduced 10 plus 2 plus 3 education policy, that was the first sizable change in the structure. Instead of that 11 plus 4, we introduced in the 70s 10 plus 2 plus 3, and we reduce our graduation up to the by 1 year and so on. Then we have certain modifications, rather certain chaos, especially in the few states, which includes unfortunately Maharashtra also, about what to do with the higher secondary, or we call the popular phase junior college. Dr. Din Patil sir has already introduced that. In the Maharashtra, we have three type of higher secondary. Few junior colleges are attached to the secondary schools. Few junior colleges are attached to the degree colleges, and few junior colleges, especially in the Vidarbha, they are independent. And so from 70s onwards up to date, we introduced this, but till we are not able to reach the objective of introductions of that system. Patil have made one very interesting remark about the education policy that we have to remember. Policy is not bad or good. Education policy introduced in a good way or bad way, that goes with the society and with the implementers and so on. So first time we have the great structural changes proposed in this education policy, and it starts from the beginning, because in this country the beginners education, that is nursery, junior KG or senior KG, is not formal in that way. It was not regulated by the any concerns authority, or it was not really accepted as a pre-primary education. And as you must be aware that in the education, this pre-primary section plays the foundation's role. Unfortunately, the first 3 years were neglected. The first time we have considered nursery, senior KG, junior KG, first and second standard. This is the pre-primary school level. I'm not going with the details, what is expected to do in this level. Then we have the primary level, and that is the third, fourth, and fifth standards. So we reduce the primary schools up to fifth standards, but with the actually 8 standards, if we consider the first 3 years of the beginners. Then our secondary school is also reduced to 6, 7, and 8 standards only. Actually, at the ground level, it has a great impact. What to do with the infrastructure, what to do with the physical facilities, and most important questions, what to do with the teachers and non-teaching staff if we break up the system in this way. But these issues can be addressed at the appropriate time, I think, and our administrators will take care of that. I feel the most important structural change is a 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. All these four important years standards they brought together in this system. And you must be aware of this. Now there is no plan of 10th exam, that is the SSC exams, or 12th exam, that is the HSC exams. Instead of that, in this new structure, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th will be very critical and decisive year for the career planning of the students. So parents, teachers have to play a very significant role in the career planning, because a future career will be academically planned when the child will go in the 9th standard and so on. Because at present we are familiar with the system of the various trades in the education, arts, commerce, science faculties, medicine, engineering, architecture, after 12th, or in the junior colleges for the general degree, arts, commerce, and science in the 11th standards and so on. But now it will, we have to decide in the 9th standards and so on. Then the another thing which we have to consider, which is very important, that is the degree level. In this new education policy, degree is planned for the 4 years and 3 years respectively. Not only that, even if you complete the 2 years, if the student complete the 2 years, you will also get the diploma in the required requisite or selected subject and so on. So degree, diploma, general degree, and honors, they are combined together, and so our colleges will become places where the students will get the diploma, students will get the general degree, and if the students complete the 4th specializations here with the work experience, he will get the honors degree also. Then the postgraduate will be there. Now there are certain issues maybe in the minds of parents especially, or students. What will happen for the professional? What will happen to the professional institutes? What is the future of the colleges like a law college, nursing college, medical college, and so on? Now in this new education policies, all the degrees will be have the equal weightage in the terms of years. But the actual performance will be planned according to the need of that particular profession and so on. That we have to understood. Then after the completion of 12th, there will be the CET and similar type of mechanism. But students will not face a double tension and pressure of board exam and the CET exam or similar exams and so on. Because we have gone through that process, n numbers of CETs to get the admissions in the professional colleges and so on. In future, these types of tension will be not with the students and so on. That we have to remember. So in the structure, you will find a lot of things, and that of the new things they have introduced. In future, there will be no scope for the DA separate colleges. DA diploma will be given after the 2 years while doing the 4 years integrated B.Ed courses and so on. So at the institutional level also, management have also to consider the future needs of the institutions. We have a number of B.Ed colleges, we have a number of separate D.Ed colleges, we have number of polytechnics in case of engineering, what to do this. There are two options. You can elevate yourself, go to the degree, fulfill the norms and conditions of the institutions at the national levels, or you can think in a different way to shift from this to another one and so on. But that is a problem in the coming future because this system will be introduced from 2022. Till it is not sure whether it will be introduced phase wise, class wise, or simultaneously and so on. But in due course, it will be clear with the decision of the different state assemblies and the state governments and so on. But one thing is sure that 2022 onwards, we will have the new system in this track. So in the structural point of view, I want to bring these few points. In this, another thing from the students' points of view, because students are the main stakeholder in the any education system. One thing is that in the existing education system, we don't have the exit system or exit way out for the students. What is the result? We have only the dropouts. But in new education policy, give us the sufficient exit ways, roads, as per the wish of the students and the parents. Means, I will start from very top level degree. If someone wants to exit from the education, formal education system after 2 years of the degree, he will get the diploma of the concerned subject and he may go to the employment market or self-employment market with that qualification. If someone wants the general degree, for example, most of the students, they don't want to go for the masters and the higher education and the research. Then why they should waste 1 more year in the formal system? Instead of that, if they get opportunities and if they join the industry, they will get the 1 year experience more in their life and so on. So students can exit even at that level also. After completion of 3 years, they may go for the jobs, they may go for the self-employment and so on. Then who will be there in the 4th year? That is honors at the degree. Those who wants to go for the higher education, those who want to go to the research institute, those who wants to go for the PhD and so on. In other words, at present we find at the introduction, Dr. Bhosle has rightly pointed out, we have produced a graduate unemployed youth in the existing education system. But in the future, this won't happen if we implement this system systematically, rigorously, and religiously, and so on. If all the stakeholders involved in this implementing system, we may not have in the futures, after 10 or 12 years, the graduate unemployed in any faculty of knowledge, and so on. The second important thing from the student point of view, that from the primary level, students have to learn a skill which he prefer, which he or she likes, and so on. So student will not have only the formal learning of the subject like arts, that is humanities, languages, science, general science, spatial science, applied science, but he will also learn a skill which he wants to learn, which he wants to be an expert in the future, which may be useful for him to make his career in that particular skill and so on. That is essential. And in this education policy, it was mentioned that it is a responsibility of the institute to decide, to find out the local skills requirement of the society. Because at present, what the employer wants, That skills was not there. Even the great IT personnel, they say our IT engineers, IT graduates needs 1 or 2 years, 12 months, 18 months induct training on the IT. This is the real failure of the education system. Someone who spent 3 or 4 or 5 years in the IT learning until to become the eligible for the job, he has to take 18 months training, 12 months training, or 24 months training. It identifies something is wrong in this whole system and its implementation and so on. In the new education policy, the skill development will be the part of the curriculum. Because at present, you know that there are certain subjects in the existing education system which is not the actual part of the curriculum. There is no weightage in the terms of marks, and their evaluation is graded evaluation, which is not considered as a part of the score of the students and so on. Just to pass, for example, physical education, environment, like subjects. But in the future, from the student's point of view, these subjects, these skills will be the part of his main curriculum. In future, there will be graded evaluations and the continuous evaluation. From student point of view, this is the one of the major change, because our mindset from generation to generations has developed in that way that we may have the evaluation at the end of the year, and now in certain subjects, certain degrees, we may have the semester system. But this new education policy insists on the continuous evaluation for the students, and there will be no year-end evaluation. Naturally, it will reduce the tension and the pressure of the student, because what he learns or he or she learns throughout the year, it will be evaluated in the month of March or April. This is in that way we feel that injustice on that students. Secondly, the theoretical learning, content-based learning will be there, but the applied part will be also important for the learning, depending upon the pre-primary, secondary, primary, or higher secondary or collegiate level education and so on. Students has to learn how to apply what they have learned in the classes. So at present, we find a very interesting situation that what students learn in the colleges and universities is not applicable in the industry for their jobs. This type of situations may not happen in the future educations and so on. So this is the, from student point of view, continuous evaluation. So students have to learn continuously, and what they have learned, it will be evaluated in that same methods. Now, due to this COVID situation, our education system has learned little bit applications online, from very pre-primary sections to the collegiate level. But most of the time, online teaching means what we are doing, we are doing simple things. We are applying the teaching methods which we are doing in the colleges, in the schools, in the classes. We are applying the same, if necessary, with a certain modifications online. In future, applications of latest and current technology will become the integral part of the education system. In other words, educators, administrators, and especially the teachers has continued, if you go the continuous evaluation for the students, all other stakeholders, they also needs to be have the continuous updating, upgrading their knowledge, systems, standards, facilities at the institutional level, which match the demand of the current times and so on. So in the future, From students' point of view, these are the certain features which are important. I personally feel the exit policy is very important for the student, because in this country we find a lot of the peoples complete the secondary education, then they go for the higher education, then they go for the postgraduate education, and they decide that now they will be unemployed. Instead of that, having the skill development at appropriate and proper level with the local need base, all will not go upward. They will not go upward unnecessarily. Where is necessary, where is essential, those who want to go for the postgraduates and the higher education, those who want to work in the research, that is also the essential from the development of the country, they will go there. So appropriate to, according to the each student, he will get appropriate opportunity to develop himself or herself in this new education policy. The another stakeholder is a teacher. And here I consider the teacher from pre-primary to the university level. First point regarding the teachers, they have to upgrade their knowledge and they should learn how to teach with the applications of the latest and modern technology in the classroom and outside the classrooms. That is very much important and essential. At present, in our system, teaching methods, teaching methodology, day-to-day teaching, our evaluation methods, they are little bit outdated and they are not matching with the present scenario in the society. So our degrees, our diplomas, their evaluation is not accepted by a number of the institutes, number of the businesses, number of professions. So gradually in the last 20 years, we have introduced the CETs for the further admissions and so on. Otherwise, I have the very simple questions which you may also answer. If for the medical and education, medical and engineering, 12 science is the qualification, why we need the different type of the CETs? Why the IIT want advanced test? It means in the whole country, there is no one standard for the 12th examination results, syllabus, curriculum, teaching methods, and so on. So this development of CET is become the inevitable and so on. In future, teachers has to upgrade ourselves and they should have the, for example, that is not so difficult. We have proved in the last few months. Because I'm sure in the last October, no one have dreamed that we may have online teaching of all the subjects. Yes, practically it is also not possible. There are some ground level difficulties of online teaching of certain subjects. But from the first standard up to the college, we have started the online education. All participants, I have one suggestions. And one of my experience say, teachers are competent to solve the problem of the system. If we decide, we can solve the problem. At present, the problem of our education system from pre-primary to the higher education is the enhancement of the quality. And I'm sure who will give the solution for this? That is the teachers. Because we start these systems after the independence or sometimes say before independence in case of higher education from 1857, we have started that system, formal system. or we can say the Western formal system. Because sometimes we feel that before 1857 we don't have any higher education system. It is not a fact. Even in the 17th and 18th century, we have 370 plus institutions which impart the collegiate exam education in this country. So you have not to go back in the ancient history of the Takshashila and Nalanda. We have some institutions, but in the present terminology, they are the autonomous institutes. We don't have the formal affiliated universities and the college system. And see, incidentally, now we are gradually moving from the affiliated system to once again to the autonomous colleges. So teachers has to contribute this the issues of the system, issues of the structure, day-to-day issues, and so on. Teachers has to concentrate, no doubt, on the teaching and learning and evaluation. That is the part and parcel of their life, no doubt. But these are the certain issues which will be resolved by the teachers only. In the new education systems, teachers' role is enhanced. Like 1886, that new education policy we have introduced, extension is a third dimension. But now we feel that teachers has to contribute positively for the quality enhancement and quality development in the system. Then the third stakeholder is a parent. Because I am not going to discuss the what is written there in the education policy, because now that is very easily available to everyone. You can very easily read. It is very clearly stated. Let us give the thanks to Dr. Kasturi Ranjan and his colleagues who work hard to write this and come to this very elaborate and comprehensive education policy of the future and so on. So the society in general, parents in particular. Now the parents' role needs to be changed. At present, parents' role is very simple. They want the maximum mark and they want the admission for those programs which is socially recognized and prestigious and so on. Instead of this, students should think at the micro level. What their wards deserve. He or she should get the admission in that program only. What parents wants, that is the sweet wishes of parents, may not work in the modern, in the new education program. What your student deserve, or which programs your student can, your wards can progress, they should study this. In this new program, this type of the interactions with the parents is there from the pre-primary section onwards. Parents counseling and student counseling will be the integral part of the education system. Because one thing is very clear, in the future also, we have to underline this. Number of wards will be very limited in each family. So they have the every right to develop themselves. And they have every right to reach the top in their desired field and so on. But the most important thing is that that field where he or she should have the interest. Then in that case, there is a probability and possibility that they may reach the top and so on. So we have to consider the parents' role also in this very positive way. Sometimes it may happen in the another next 10 years. You may call the parents to your institute 1 or 2 times, and initially sometimes more also. for the successful implementation of this new education policy. Then the management has also needs a lot of change in their mindsets also. Because without the positive support of the management, the chairman of this institution, they have rightly pointed out, you can't make a radical change in the system. Otherwise, it will be a superficial change only. Changes will be only on the papers. That we have to avoid. And finally, in this new education policy, the state government and central government has to play a very vital role. Considering the time limit, I will just point few points, few areas where they have to play a very vital role. One is the provision of the budget from central as well as state government. It may be 5% or 7%, it may be a dream for the country like us. But it must be minimum 3 to 4%. Maybe it may be in the phase manner. But without financial support, the successful implementation is not feasible and not practicable. Similarly, the government has to change the mindset also. Dr. Patil has said that through Saral, they started the appointment in the state of Maharashtra of the teachers. And he mentioned, now quality teachers get the opportunity for the appointment. This shows what type of changes we need in the state. Because ultimately, the state government will decide the rules and regulations about the implementation of the education program and so on. So these things to be mentioned. One of the gray area in the present education systems is the teachers training from pre-primary to the collegiate education. But in this new education policy, there is a proper attention is given, and I'm sure it will be implemented in that way. Let us hope from 2022, we will implement this program because the Maharashtra state in the country has significance of education, especially with the social dimensions. The great people like Savitribai Phule and Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Karmavir Bhavrao Patil, and in numbers of people, Punjab Rao Deshmukh and others. They work in a very adverse situations. But their aim was very clear to reach with the education to the last person in the society. In the future institutions, future Phule, future Punjab Rao Deshmukh, future Karmavir Bhavrao Patil will have the dream to reach with the quality education to the last students of the society. And for this new education policy will be the one of the significant tool. Personally, I feels, and then we will have the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Dr. Dev, sir. It was really wonderful to listen to you, to listen to your keynote address. Sir, you covered almost all the essential qualities and aspects of the national education policy. And as expected, your delivery was precise and pinpointed. In your introduction, you introduced the highlights of the NEP 2020, and the significant that I found is that you mentioned that this NEP is not an alteration of the earlier national education policies, but a total reconstruction, and it has undergone the structural change. Yes, it is. You discussed almost every factor of the revised national education policy in detail. I am sure your keynote address will be helpful to all the stakeholders who are connected with us in understanding those structural changes being observed under this national education policy. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And now over to Dr. Prasanna Patil, sir.
Now I invite Dr. K.M. Kulkarni, sir, for the
आवाज
former
आवाज
director of.
आवाज नहीं येत.
Now I invite Dr. K.N. Kulkarni sir, the former director of higher education in Maharashtra and well-known associate and friend of our founder trustee, late Sri Sambhajarao Kadam, who has helped this institution to establish, to grow, to excel. I think there is no need to introduce Dr. Kulkarni as the higher education sector knows him as a perfect administrator, a man of principles, and a down-to-earth sport of person. The institute is fortunate enough as he visited as the director of higher education in 2006 in, to celebrate the Golden Jubilee function of Sri Madai Devi Shikshan Sanstha, and he revisited in 2010, accompanying Dr. N.J. Pawar, the Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. These days, he is working as a chairman of Navjivan Society, Suryakant Jog, Deep Shiksha Gurukul Sainik School, Chikaldara. That is one part. But he is a source of inspiration and guiding star for many the others. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time for us. I welcome you to the behalf of the organizer and request you deliver your views and opinions on the silent features of National Education Policy 2020. Please.
Namaskar. Before starting, let me pay homage to Late Sambhaji Kadam, who founded the particular college. He was a real person who looked for the upliftment of the backward regions, backward people, and tried to give them education. Namaskar to my friend Major Sawan, who was also associated with us for longer time, principal and friends. In fact, I'll take 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. Whatever Dr. Patil and Dr. Dev has completed or touched, untouched part I will just discuss with you, because this particular National Education Policy 2020 is really a advanced part. Whatever we have done, we have did earlier in the education. Implementation was that fast. But this particular education system will help us in implementing them also, because first review will be taken after 5 years and everything will be completed till 2030. Whatever the parts they have touched, I'll go only the other parts. In this education system, what was expected long back, that the individual institution also should take part. Now here, many colleges will have to be together. They will have to a form of cluster by which they can exchange many subjects, or many subjects can be made available to the students. See, the main structure where the affiliation of the colleges, that is being lifted up. That means colleges who are having different, say, the faculties, they can go for their own autonomy. Else, the other faculty colleges can unite together and form a cluster that cluster will help in providing all other subjects or all facilities to the students. That means the local area which need a perfect, say the skilled or job oriented people, that can be adjusted in that particular colleges like. So that means you will have a cluster of college where whatever the subjects are there today, the repeated subjects should be changed, by which the other subject will be introduced. And the pattern will be a type like minor and major subjects, where, as Dr. Dev said, the degrees, they are divided into different years like. That means degree will be of 3 years, degree will be of 4 years. Now that means if boy completes his first year for the degree, he even can go ahead with his own ideas. If he wants to continue with the particular subjects, he can continue for second year, third year, or even the fourth year will be PG like. That means the major subject. Earlier it was called as the honors. If in first year he takes additional units for, say, like vocational courses, there also he can go away with having a certificate. Similarly, second year boy can go away with a diploma, and third year will be for degree. Those who wish to go for professional or higher degrees, they have to go for the additional subjects like, say, for third year, instead of having say only the subject, he can opt for research. So degree plus research, he will join for the post graduation and will complete his research further. That means those who are not interested in research, they can quit that. And that is why it is said this education policy has.
Excuse me, sir. You can take your time. You can have water, please.
Multidisciplinary entry.
Sir, please, sir, take your time. Have water, please.
Multidisciplinary entry as well as multidisciplinary exit. That means at first, second, third, he can find an exit or he can continue his education. Now, for all these things, you need infrastructure. Now, for infrastructure, what is the
सर मला असं वाटतं की तुम्ही एक थोडा वेळ थांबावं सर.
Yeah, that's suggested because he can settle down. We can hear him later.
प्लीज सर, प्लीज 1 मिनिट घ्या सर, तुम्ही शांत व्हा आणि मग आपण वाट बघूया.
हॅलो मनोज.
हा सर.
यामध्ये
त्यांना म्हणावं जरा पाणी प्या, पाणी प्या.
हो, सांगितलं मी, घेतलं सरांनी पाणी.
Sorry for things.
नाही सर, ठीक आहे.
Now, here actually the finance or the support is mainly by central government, state government, as well as philanthropic people who really feel that they want to help people, society, they can help for the education. Now, these finances will help to come up with the difficulties in the colleges. Now, what I feel and another important part of it is the traditional subjects that will be opted along with the vocational courses. That means you must have another college or a branch which can help them in taking that particular subject. That means the polytechnics, ITI, or engineering college. If it is associated with the institution, that will be very good for establishing a sort of trademark like. That means here you have to go for autonomy, that may be in the form of a cluster autonomy or a separate unit autonomy. That means colleges having all faculties like arts, commerce, science, technical, or a law, or even the teaching or physical education. So there the combination of subjects will help in getting them degree of their own choice. Here choice is very important. That means first year, second year or third year boy can go for, or else if he finds better for his own job, he can go away like. So the another very important point which is not touched by Dr. Dev, that is dropout. As we see, most of the boys after completion of graduation, they go away. Now here, the exit is given to them by way of additional vocational courses by which they can have their own business or they can have their own, say, the industry like. Now, more emphasis is given on the topic like, say, the local area, whatever the job opportunities they are present in the local area, that can be worked out, and accordingly courses can be framed and that can be implemented for the students. Very important part of it is, as it is not affiliated with the university, where the university alone decides about the syllabus and all other things. So here by cluster or autonomy, you get that liberty by which you can have your own syllabus as per the need of the local, as per the need of the student, and that can be continued for further degrees like. So infrastructure association with the other colleges, other technical, say the colleges, you can continue have your own, brand. Now here, along with this, government also gives more emphasis on distance learning, where every college can have the participation like. Now, what I feel is, whatever the teacher number is their existence, those teacher number will be continued perhaps for the salary, and repeated subjects will be changed and new subject will be allowed if the teachers, they are quite qualified for the other subject. If not, till then they will make their eligibility and will continue in the service. or they will be adjusted in other colleges like. So here the importance of university is only for distributing degrees and not for other purposes like. So that will help in now having your own syllabus, having your own, the structure accordingly. Now for teaching also, if the teachers or the required subject contribution or rather workload is less, in that case, teacher will be or the salary will be bared by 2, 3 institutes like, and accordingly it will be given. That means at the same time with the changes, government is also assuring people who are in service their continuation in the services also. In fact, earlier also it was same. Though you are adopting for autonomous college, your salary or funding from the government will be continued. But people have not gone. Now you have no other choice now. You have to go for association with the other colleges or cluster autonomy or individual autonomy like. So for B.Ed also, it will be similar way, the teaching or their degree, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year degree. If he doesn't want to continue as a lecturer teacher, he can opt for the another things. If so, with addition of 1 year and research, he can go for the M.Ed or other things. So according to this, I think this will have a more liberty for institution, even for students, parents, and university also to propagate the education, and the literacy will be reduced in one way or the other. As we see, whatever they wish, they can continue, or otherwise they can ask for the exit. I hope this is enough, whatever they have said.
Yes, sir.
Because it is important to be ready for, you must prepare yourself for this. You must find out the other colleges. Say like if a college is of a single faculty, you can find out a friend from commerce faculty. Similarly, a college friend for commerce or the law or other faculties like. So clustering will help in improving the education system in a limited way, instead of wasting again for those colleges which have all faculties. They are definitely fortunate. They can go for their autonomy and continue the different. Here the choice for students is really that is being done, or rather looked by the national education policy. Whatever they wish, they can go. Now, multiple subjects means the arts, commerce, and science. If science people wish to join the languages, that can be done easily. So it will be only the association. More stress is given on the languages. So languages, local languages, and the many other languages, they are made available. They can run, work in it. They can learn that language. So those who have the language departments, they say like English literature, Marathi literature, Hindi, or other subjects, they have better ways. They can go for the addition of the another language like Sanskrit, which has got importance in the this particular scenario. So they can have a institute having only the languages and so on. Probably the government is also giving them the incentives which will help them in flourishing in the situations. So I am very much thankful to the Major Sawan as well as Dr. Bose for giving me with the opportunity. Anyway, I wanted to, somehow join with this particular college. This the opportunity helped me in again remembering the olden days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your studious speech on the silent features of National Education Policy 2020. Like Dr. Dev, you also covered almost all the essential qualities and of National Education Policy 2020. And as expected, your delivery too was precise and pinpointed. You introduced subject structure, continuation of teacher. You also highlight financial aspects and distance learning. Thank you, sir, once again.
And now, may I request the member panelist, Honorable Major Praveen Sawan sir, for his expert comments on the discussions held so far. But before that, let me introduce Major sir. Like our CDC president, Major Praveen Sawan is also an active member of my parent association, Sri Mudhai Devi Shikshan Sanstha Deur, in the capacity of the Director Board of Trustees for the couple of tenures. In the beginning of his service career, he focused on competitive examinations, qualified, and got selected for the Indian Army, and he has lived his dream to serve the nation as an army officer. After superannuating from the Indian Army, he has actively engaged himself as the Director HR for one of the Fortune 500 multinational corporation, Cognizant, that provides IT services, and he is an experienced human resource professional with a demonstrated history of high impact assignments in information technology. Sir, I welcome you on the behalf of the organizers and expect to hear from you the industry academia requirements, especially the requirements of the local and global industry from the education sector and especially from the revised education policy. Major Praveen Sawan sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Gujar, sir. Thanks for the nice words. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. So I'm not here as a panelist, is what I understand, because I am not an educationist or I'm not expert like many people here on this platform. I'm here as a student, just to understand and learn from people, those who would express or have expressed the importance of national education policy. I understand that the context of the subject here is more about how is that national education policy, the new education policy, is going to help India become a self-reliant India. Now, when I go back maybe 30 years back, and when we were students and we were big followers of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, always read that India would be a superpower by 2020, and we are living in 2020. Are we there now? That's the question which we need to ask ourselves. Are we there from a superpower standpoint? It's okay, like answer may be yes, no, whatever. I leave up to you. But is there a potential to become a superpower? So that is there where we need to understand, yes, we have potential. Now, when we say we have a potential, we need to tie two things here. Because to be potential, like why we call ourselves, first of all, a potential to be a superpower. And most of you must be knowing that India has advantage of demographic dividend. I'm sure like most of you have got this terminology, demographic dividend. What we call it is, for those who probably are not aware about it, it's basically a working population between 15 years of age to 59 years of age would be highest in the world in India. That means around 59% of India population will be between this age group for next 30 years. Now, to become a superpower, now we call it, there are two things where we call it as a superpower. One, either we are the recipient of whatever, we become a market. or we also equally contribute. And if we need to contribute, we need a vehicle. And what is that vehicle? If we have to become a superpower, we need a vehicle, right? We have to go from Satar to Pune, we need a vehicle. We need to go from A to B, we need a vehicle. And that vehicle here is this new education policy. Unless we ride on this vehicle very successfully, we will not be a superpower. And that is where I would just want to bring attention of everybody when it comes to tying up what is the output of this education institute to an input to an industry. Okay, that is something, and some of the panelists or keynote speakers did touch about that aspect, which talks about what is that output, like industry and academia relationship. What is that we need to do? Now, what will that new education policy will do, or probably needs to focus on, is about a global value chain, where we stand on that global value chain. Because unless the output, as an output, we contribute somewhere on that GVC, like, and again, that is one term I'm purposely using, because we as of now, we think that we produce a manpower, like we probably teach students to become a workforce. Now, is it that our aim, like where or what quality of workforce we need to produce? That is something which I want to probably bring in an attention of all the speakers, all those who are on the platform. Are contributing to the top notch of global value chain. That is very important part here, because just to explain you what is that global value chain, like I'll just give one example. It's like Apple phone you use, everybody, probably most of you use or heard or whatever, by various reasons. Now you see that Apple phone, generally when you purchase, you see that it's made in China. Okay. Now, almost everybody of us think that since it's produced in China, everything what we pay, let's say we pay, Apple phone is costing between 50,000 to 60,000 rupees, or maybe to a lakh of rupees. Everything goes to China, but that's not the case. China gets only 6% of what it is, okay? And where does the rest of 92 or 93 or 94% go? It goes to US. It's not 90% because it's, again, there are certain segments, but almost 50% of that, whatever we pay, goes to US. And why it goes to US? The reason is that the technical know-how is it with the US. And what is the technical know-how? Because they own the technology, they own the research. And that is where I want you all to focus on how we can create the manpower, which will be a research-oriented manpower, which will be on the top bracket of that value chain, which will help India to become a superpower. That is second part. Now, thirdly, what I want to bring in here is this education policy adopting or probably teaching both, because both needs the adoption of new age technologies. And what is that new age technologies? We call about social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. Now, in what form and shape are we going to use this SMAC, we call it in the IT world? So we generally say that, okay, these are the four platforms which will change our life. How it has changed, you might have seen, like use of mobile, for example. Now we use it for banking transactions for many. MSCB bill, once upon a time, used to be a big pain to pay MSCB bill. You have to stand at least 2 hours in line. Now, I'm talking only about Pune. In Pune, 80% of customers pay their MSCB bill through their mobile. Now you understand how it has changed the overall landscape. So are we really adopting the new age platforms and technologies to reach to the students and give them, and should not suffer, like dropout and things should be just phased out. There will be no dropout going forward. Why should there be a dropout? Let's understand, in a current scenario, if we are all connecting virtually, students are connecting virtually, what is the need for somebody to be a dropout from the school? That concept, that term itself should be dropped out from that overall thing. There is no dropout in go forward. Okay, that is something which we need to focus on. So are we adopting that, and are we teaching that? Because what happens, and I'm sharing the experience purely from HR, that what is the output that comes from academic, and I'm talking about even the top colleges. I'm not talking even maybe grade B or grade C engineering colleges. companies have to invest again millions of rupees to train these people for what is required for an industry. So it's very important. Are we really training which is required for? I understand there is a basic thing which you all need to train, and we everybody need to be aware about. But beyond that, we need to focus on what is the requirement of industry, how the industry is changing. And when I say the industry, please don't misunderstand me as IT industry. Again, that one more term I'll use for explaining you, and this is used basically by Dr. Arvind Swamy, is premature deindustrialization. Okay. Now, what happened is because we last 20 years, what we have seen that IT boom has happened in India. We do some kind of services, or we provide some services to IT through IT, and people got attracted. It's like a T20 cricket, right? T20 and IT probably started hand in hand. Like whenever if somebody has to get trained on in a cricket, or somebody aspires to become a cricketer, nobody would want that like basically all parents want that their child should play in T20, because T20 gives you a lot of revenue. Okay, a lot of money you get it out of T20. But if you ask a cricketer, he will never say that, okay, you should play T20. They will say, hey, are you prepared for a 5-day match, or are you prepared for that 1-day match? That's what is a cricket all about. Same is for us. We need to understand from education. I'm just using that just for an example. In the new education policy, we should not focus on the newest technologies. We should not just focus on IT technologies. We should also focus on manufacturing technologies. Because what is happening, if we have to absorb the vast need of our population, services, which is the IT sector, is not enough. We have to have a manufacturing to support that. And that is where you will see a difference between us and China and some of the other economies which are ahead of us. Because unless we produce for production, or for manufacturing, and also for IT, I'm not saying that you need to deny that, but you need to connect these two things, and then only you will become a superpower. And I'm sure with the use of, and we will be the first amongst a lot of other colleges who will ride on this new education policy, and we would want to reach our destination and probably contribute to make our India a self-reliant and superpower India. And I'm sure the kind of the professors we have in our institute, under the able guidance of Dr. Bharat Bhosle sir, and obviously, and Mr. Arvind Kadam, he leads by an example, because he himself is an entrepreneur. He himself owns an 100% export oriented unit, and that kind of people we need, who would guide us and give that direction to this organization, which will help to reach what we want to reach as together as a team. And let's look forward, not now in 2020, but by 2040 or by 2050, we are somewhere in a superpower. So with that, I'll close my address. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your expert comments. You also touched almost all the issues regarding national education policy, and exactly you impressed with your speech with the paradigm shift. That is what we expected while deciding the topic of the webinar. Thank you, sir. Now, keeping in mind the considerations of time, it is almost 12:15. But then too, Dr. Dev is connected with us, Dr. Kulkarni is with us, Major Sir is with us. If participants would like to ask some questions to the resource persons, I would like to invite questions from the participants end. Please. अगर कोई आपके सवाल पूछना चाहता है तो आप अपने सवाल यहाँ पे पूछ सकते हो. Any questions? Okay, it appears that there are no questions. So thank you very much. Thank you, all the participants. If someone is there who wish to give a live feedback on this national webinar, he or she is welcome. Anyone from the participants and attendees, if they would like to share their live feedback. अगर कोई लाइव फीडबैक अपना शेयर करना चाहता है, गुप्ता मैडम, Dr. Gupta madam, would you like to share your feedback, please?
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, I'm Dr. Rupa Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Srimati Radha Devi Goenka College for Women, Akola. Sir, this session is very wonderful and informative, and it enhances my knowledge. I have some doubts, but by listening all the sessions, I am satisfied fully with this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. और कोई अपना फीडबैक देना चाहता है यहाँ पे? Anyone else that would like to share his or her feedback? Okay, thank you very much. Now over to my colleague friend, Dr. Prasanna Patil, for the vote of thanks. Dr. Prasanna, please.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Manoj Gujar, for hello. Thank you, Dr. Manoj Gujar, for giving me this opportunity to conclude this brainstorming webinar on national education policy. All the very outset, it is my humble duty to propose vote of thanks to the three distinguished speakers of today's webinar. The keynote speaker, Principal Dr. Subhash Dev sir, Professor Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir, and Dr. Dinkar Patil sir, for their splendid academic delivery on the proposed webinar title. Sir, your esteemed presence and through provoking delivery made this webinar a memorable one. Special thanks to the panelists today's Major Praveen Sawan sir, and extra special thanks to Dr. Sir, to Sri Arvind Kadam sir, the trustee and the president of my college development committee, and also Principal Dr. Bharat Bhosle sir, and the member of the IQC members, IQC committee, members of the organizing committee, team PSKCD, the live attendees on the Zoom and as well as YouTube live platform, and all the well-wishers of the Professor Sambhajirao Kadam College, Devur. Thank you very much. I request our technical team to end the meeting for all, but some announcement is there. Dear participants, do not forget fill in the feedback form. The link will be remain open from 12 p.m. onwards for limited period of the time only. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you all.